Hey, you guys, listen. I gotta tell you, I've got some truth in store for you today, and we have quite a journey to go on. And and it's about creation. Okay, the 7 days of creation, as a matter of fact. And if you've got some friends out there that are the flat earthers, or those people that believe that that they're talking about Earth, and this is where they get their information from, we'll just kind of help them out along the ways, that it actually has absolutely nothing to do with Earth at all. Hey, there goes the spoiler. I've already given one of the answers away. But you're going to hear Genesis, probably, I'm hoping, the first time, the way the Spirit was intended to hear it. Remember, they want you to use your ear to hear what the Spirit has to say about things. So anytime you're getting these allegories or parables, you're supposed to lend an ear to it. And I've got an ear for it, and I got a real good eye for it. So anyways, I say buckle up, you guys. It's gonna be kind of fun. Sorry it's a spoiler for you guys that are thinking that this has anything to do with the Earth in general. But there's this wonderful play on what's above and what's below. That like in here, where there were two lights that were created. One to rule over the daytime, and one to rule over the nighttime. This is a sense of duality, and it very well could be the sun and the moon. That's why we have the moon that rules over night, and that's where you get all your moon gods from. They all have this. I think the moon gods are things that have wings. Things that fly like animals and stuff like that. But in reality, all of that is just because of there's a cosmic order to things. And in this story, you'll find that the zodiac is mentioned, okay? And these are the stars in the skies that are meant to be for signs. And that when that happens is that this is, well, let's just get right into it, and we'll discover it along the way at the same time, all right? Okay, so anyways, real quick, real quick. It's like 5 frickin' pages long. But in the beginning it says, let there be light. And this is 7. This is the chakra system. And this is, as we go on, we told you what, 1 and the number systems, and 2 and 3 and 4, what each one of those means. 6, 5 and 6, let's see, if we don't, I'll remind you. 1, which would be the lowest chakra, it's just 1. 1 means God. That's the God. That's it. And God actually is Elohim, which means 2. It's a mother and a father. It's a male and a female energy. That's 1. 2 is its creation. Creation is us. All right, we're created in their image, so we got a duality going on. That's why we're 2. All right, joining these 2 together with the person is 3. That's when we're all a happy family. This is when you had your child, and this is where you have divine intervention in there. 3. All right, there's when 3 are joined together. 3 is everyone Israel. That's, hey, we got it. All right. 4 is the fourfold nature of man. This is where we get in with the compass and the idea that, there's a north, east, south, and a west. 1 is for our emotions, 1 is for our intelligence, and 1 is for our physical self, and the other is for our spiritual self. And they're all marked out with 3, like a compass, like seasons and years and things like that. This is what these are for, and they also are our influences on us. So we have this 12 cranial nerve endings in our head that are more than likely some kind of an antenna that's connected to all these things, and they're used to separate light from dark. So, if you know anything about astrology and stuff like that, there's a good side to you and a bad side to you, and we are told to show how to overcome the bad side. So, it's a separation within the separation. So it's pretty neat stuff. So anyways, oh man, I'm giving away some stuff. But anyways, So he let there be light, and he divided the light from the darkness. He called one day, one night, one morning, one evening. Okay. And the first day is over. Second day, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water, and let it be divided, that the water there above the firmament and from those that are below. So it's a dividing line, and he's going to call this firmament heaven. All right. So here's your flat earthers. What this is this firmament that they're talking about is actually a plane. It's a high plane of existence, almost like I would say that it would be the arachnoid of the brain that divides what is reality from what is an illusion. And so that's really, we're on an astral plane. This is the illusion side. We're on the lower end of things. But that's really all that firmament means. And that's where heaven is just on the other side of that. All right. And he called the firmament heaven. So the firmament is a high mental plane, foundation for creation. It's the central plane of consciousness, where we are at right now. This is the central plane, you and I. Everything's running out of the third chakra. Everything is central. And it divides the upper planes of reality from the lower planes of illusion. That's what it is. And if you knew anything about Mayan culture, you know that the whole outside world and earth is an illusion. It's always been, and that our two eyes are the thieves. Remember, Jesus is crucified between the two thieves. Okay, so 3. So 3, this is the third day now. So you got to know that there's got to be 3 things joined together, and that means God and both sides of the mom and dad, or something like that. So let's see what happens. 3, it says, let the water under heaven be gathered together into one, and let the dry land appear. All right. And the gathering of the water he calls the seas, and the other part he calls the earth. Oops. And what do they need inside of this? Grass. Bring forth grass, seed, and fruit trees of all kinds. This is the lower mind. This is earth. This is us. And they're separated from the waters. The waters of truth. Alright? Truth. So this is the spiritual side. You know, once you cross from the earth side, you're going into the spiritual side. That's the baptism. So anyways, three gathered. Those are the 3 things gathered together. It's really cool. Oh, wow. Let's see what else we have here. 4. Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. Alright? This is for signs. It's for seasons. It's for days. It's for years. There's 4. This is the fourfold nature of man. This is where we're getting our insight from, and you know, that's all of this is about what influences us from up above. That we really are stardust. That we actually do get our influences from these things in the heavens above us, and they're meant for signs. You know, like Aries and Taurus. I mean, all this runs rampant, but. This is an astrology book too. You know, once you get into it, you'll find it is absolutely beautiful. 6,000 or so old information. Wow, you know, it's just amazing. You know, so when someone says that, you know, we're devolving, I say, yeah, I agree. You know? And I don't agree to many things. All right, so that was 4. So, and what he does, it says, and he made this is where he says that to give life upon the earth, it's to divide, you know, like I said, it gives you the good side and the bad side, you know, and it's governed by moons, what was rising and this when you were born. It makes the individual, when all those things are in the right place, whoosh, there's you. You know, so that's a lot of grass, that's a lot of trees out there, that's a lot of trees. Remember, we're something that represents growth, fresh growth, and green. That's our heart, that's the heart chakra. It's beautiful. 5. No, it's not. We're not talking about that. It says we want to. We has a greater rule by day. Made two, two great lights. A greater light to rule the day, and a lesser one to rule the night. So these are the two different gods. These are the two different lights, because sun, those are sun gods. So the outside sun is the big one, and this is as above, so below, and the moon is just representing a reflection of this love. It's not direct anymore. So this is where all Luciferian and stuff comes from, because this is where you cut off the direct light and the direct information or the direct love from our Father, and we're left with nothing but a reflection of it. All right, and reflections, when you do this, it has to do with our emotions. It's a type of. I reflected the other day and cried all over the place. So red and the moon, these are all lower aspects of existence, and emotions and stuff. So this is talking about the lower side. So five is going to have something to do with the brethren or everything all together, because this is what you have to pull together in order to move over onto this other side. And it represents a lot of, works and things. But let's see what it says. Let the water bring forth an abundance of the moving creature that have life, and the fowl that fly about the earth, and in the open firmament of heaven. All right, God created whales of all kinds of things. Water brought forth all kinds of things, like the fish and this and this. Be fruitful and multiply. This is the mind, fish and things like that. This has to do with knowledge that we learn as we are alive, as in real life. This is our knowledge. Fish. Toss your nets in for such a fish. Fish is brain food. And what flies through the air, they're talking about thoughts and freedom, desires. Hey, it's like a dream of some kind. A desire. So this is flesh. This is what they're talking about. 5 is flesh. So it's cool. It's cool. So this is 5. This is he's making 5. Now, let the earth bring forth. I think we're still. Yeah. Let the earth bring forth the living creature of his kind. Cattle, creeping things. This is the 6th. Let me see make sure this is. Let us make man in our image. Yeah. This is where we get the image of God from. The 6th day, it's going to start off. Let's see. Let the earth bring forth the living creature of his kind. His is a male reference to the earth and the lower cattle. This is lower creepy things, and the beast of the earth. All right. This is this beast that we're all captive by, which is you, which is us, which is Pharaoh, whoever we are. If we don't know how to read this by, this is what it means. It says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Give them dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and what creepeth upon it. So this is like the 4 stages of consciousness that they're talking about. Earth and water and air, with the birds. And when it talks about these beasts and stuff, they separate them from earth, because beasts is things that this is your sacrifice. So this is representing the fire part of these stories, which is what you have to sacrifice. So God created man in his own image, male and female. This is our male. The male is the carnal side of our mind, and the female is the spiritual side. God created them, image of male and female created in the image of God, created him. Made male and female. He, them created them. So that's another one of those I am, because he is like, I am a he right now. It's like a I, And it tells you, be fruitful, go across the land and multiply. This is the 6 represents works. Remember, it's the the 6th chakra. After you have done all of this work, after you've come this far, it's time to multiply, and go crazy on Earth. And they want you to subdue Earth. And they want you to have dominion over the fish, and they want you to have dominion over the fowl of the air, and they want you to have dominion over the creepy things. This is you. They want you to be in control of yourself. This is the fourfold nature of man. This is this is you. They want you to have control over yourself. This is the 4 stages of consciousness. They want you. This is the coming out. This is the 4 horses. They want you to be in this. All right. So they're talking from the. This is. Alright. Here's more of the 6th day. Behold, I give you every herb bearing seed in the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To it shall be your meat. And green herb for meat. So that's really green herb for meat. What they're saying is that they tell you that he made all this stuff on earth. He gave you the herbs. He gave you these things to eat. These are the food. This is the food of man, right? Okay? It's not real live food. What he's talking about, he gave you these trees, and of those trees, because later on you would find out what they give you, this tree, this branched out in like 5 ways. It's really about the brain and how the brain is fed by this system. But in reality, what happens is that this is within those trees. There's one tree that bears fruit, and of this tree is where you're going to get your meat from. And so, what does that mean? That is the Kundalini. That's your tree. Me and these goddamn airplanes. But anyways, that's where you're supposed to get your food from. That's all they're really talking about. Meat is like, this is the substance of it. This is, this is what you get your growth from. Protein, I guess, I'll look it up. Alright, so on the 7th day, God rested after all the work he just did. He just did all that stuff. He just did everything it took to do all this. He's come up those whole 6 chakras, and now I've had enough, And it goes really fast. It says, on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made, rested, blessed it, and sanctified it. Do I have any more of that? That's it. That's what happens. That last day is nothing. That's the Sabbath. That's when the 7th chakra opens up and the 1,000-point petal thing opens up and beautiful things happen. And then the story keeps on talking about this goes on to tell you how they made up Adam and Eve, and it's really beautiful because that talks about, this is what they're telling you, this is what they created first, was this consciousness. They created this consciousness and this particular energy route to get there. So it's almost like what you could imagine would be like, maybe like this picture behind me would be like a brain with the stem, just floating around out there or something like that, just waiting to hook on something. So, if you flat earthers out there want to find out, that it really is probably shaped like a brain, our Earth, and I really wouldn't care, I like that idea. I like that story. Horton Hears a Who. Y'all ever heard that one there where they had a little elephant and he just thought he heard something in a little bitty dust ball on the end of a little flower? I'm there. That's where I'm at. I don't care as long as I'm in good hands. And I think I'm getting in better and better hands as I go. And it's not important. It's not. It's really not. We got some neat answers of things. We really do. We've discovered what God is and how it's made and what they're doing and this whole trip to go and see Him and stuff like that. Then we're all kind of like, who knows what goes on? But maybe in our book somewhere, like in what is it, Pentecost, we'll find out what kind of wonderful things we get. Maybe that's what I should teach us next. But we've got to knock these two wide people out of the out of paradise first. We have to clear our mind of this myth. And I know a lot of people, it's really hard to peel this shit off the wall, man. But, sometimes just go in and repaint is easier than just, restoring. Just paint over it, and use a really good paint. All right, so I love you guys, and I'll be back for more. Yeah, unveiling the Bible, giving you truth behind God's word. All right? And that's God's honest truth. No problem.